If you own firearms, sometimes moving to a new state can be a little complicated. Every state has its own laws on what type of firearms you can own, where you can have them, and if you need any permits. If you're moving to Florida, there actually may be less to do than somewhere else you may have lived. However, there are some restrictions on the types of firearms you can have. Florida doesn't allow short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, or machine guns in operable conditions. But other than that, generally speaking, you should be good to go. If you plan to drive your firearms into Florida, you're gonna need to have them unloaded and stored securely in the trunk of your car. You may be coming from a state that requires you to register your firearms. Well, that's not the case in Florida. You won't need to register any firearms you currently have, and any new guns you purchase also don't need to be registered. However, some things can get a little more complicated, especially when it comes to concealed carrying a handgun. Florida will require you to get a concealed carry weapon license. If you already had a CCW license in the state you previously lived in, these are the states that Florida has reciprocity with. However, your permit is only valid for 90 days after establishing residence, and you can't transfer your permit over, so you'll have to file a new one with the state. That'll cost you $97, but it's valid for 7 years. It can also take up to 3 months to process, so you're going to want to make sure you get that done sooner rather than later if you want to conceal carry. To get a CCW, you'll need to be at least 21 years old, have completed a firearms training class, be a U.S. citizen, and reside in the U.S. You also can't have 2 or more DUI convictions or any convictions for a violent crime in the last 3 years. There are some perks, though, to having a CCW. For starters, if you don't have a CCW and you purchase a handgun, there's a 3-day waiting period before you can actually take the weapon home. With the CCW, though, you can buy and leave with your new handgun in the same day. Additionally, having a CCW changes how you can carry your handgun in your car. Without a permit, you have to keep it securely encased and not readily accessible for immediate use. This means it needs to be in a case, in a glove box, or any type of container that requires a lid or cover to be opened for access. With the permit, none of that really applies though. You just have to keep your firearm concealed. And regardless of a permit, there are a few places you cannot have firearms, like a police station, a courthouse, schools, and airports, just to name a few. They are allowed in state parks, national forests, roadside rest areas, your car, and pretty much anywhere else that isn't deemed off limits. But what if you want to open carry your firearms? Well, for the most part, you won't be able to do that in Florida. The only times you can open carry are when you're fishing, camping, or hunting. Lastly, if you need to use your firearm, when can you actually use it? Florida does have a stand your ground law. It's been in place since 2005, and it allows gun owners to use their weapons for home protection, against deadly force, or when there's a presumption of fear or death or great bodily harm. There are nearly 2 million active concealed carry licenses in Florida, far surpassing any other state, even Texas. So it's safe to say that Florida is a very Second Amendment friendly state. Considering the move to Florida, or maybe you're already here, tell me what you want to know about. You can email me at mjones@10tampabay.com, or you can find me on Twitter at KatieJonesTV.